Hello, Justin Santos here with SGS Turf Care. Just want to talk to you today about shade, moss, trees, all these things that kind of affect grass and are tied together. So this time of the year, we're in October now. Obviously, the days are shorter, the sun is lower in the sky, so your shade patterns are going to change. Areas likely that were not shaded in the middle of the summer are going to be shaded now. And areas that are shaded now typically are also shaded in the spring when the sun is at a similar level in the sky. I mention this because I get a lot of questions about moss, and sometimes it comes up at this time of the year or during wet times, and what to do about moss. Well, ultimately, moss is a result of a lack of sunlight and excess moisture. Let's say 95% of the time. Once in a while, you can get moss in the middle of a sunny area, but generally speaking, moss is because of too much shade and too much moisture. So, my answer to what do I do about the moss is to reduce the shade and the moisture in those areas. If you do that, your moss will go away. People say, well, Justin, they sell moss killers and products and stuff like that on the market, which they do. And those will kill the moss. But you're only treating the symptom, not the disease. So if you kill the moss with a moss killer, but you still have the shade and you still have the moisture, it will come back. So ultimately, you need to address those issues. Now, I bring that up because trees kind of get forgotten about. They grow really slow. They kind of, usually people don't pay attention to them, especially ones that are way up high. It's over their line of sight. And, year after year, trees grow and get bigger, which means they're creating more shade typically for your grasses in your areas. But often people don't address this. You mow your lawn weekly because you need to keep up with the growth rate. You see that it's very rapid, it happens quickly. You don't see that with trees, so often it gets forgotten about. And, ultimately, if you don't ever prune your trees back or adjust your lawn, your shade is going to increase. And eventually and slowly over time, your turf may decline. And it's not because that you're not doing the right things with fertility and water and whatnot. It's because it's not getting enough sunlight. And you just don't kind of recognize it because it happens slow and over time. So, great segue into some new services we're offering in this off season, and that's ornamental pruning, tree pruning, brush clearing, smaller jobs that maybe those bigger companies don't want to handle or don't have time to handle. We're happy to take those on for us. So if you find you have trees encroaching on your grass and you want to kind of push them back, you need to do some pruning, maybe lift up some canopies because they're getting too low to the ground. Those are kind of projects we can take on in the off season and be happy to. So reach out for us, and we'd be happy to supply your quote with that. Hope you're doing well, and we'll talk to you again soon.